bill, again on the responsibility of the Senate, knowing that agriculture is a devolved function, I would have wanted to see a law that strengthens the intergovernmental relations, that recognizes that agriculture is devolved, therefore the key functions lie with the county governments, one that therefore structures the law in a manner that actually respects that. Mr. Speaker, I would have also wanted to see a law that respects the principles of the Constitution, one that would be centered on the rights of the very people we would want to be helping with this law. Mr. Speaker, this law needs to be stronger on supporting the coffee farmer. I have not seen a strength in that. I have seen a strength on establishing an institution that is not different from the coffee board that existed before, and we all know that the coffee board that existed before ended up serving perhaps those people that are referred to by Senator Boni Khalwale as cartels. It ended up being a tool that was used by a few wealthy people against the majority of the small-scale farmers. Mr. Speaker, when you look at clause 7, the coffee board, Mr. Speaker, I find that that clause, number 1, does not guarantee, in accordance with Article 27 of the Constitution, that the necessary gender ratios will be achieved. So I would want to request that the movers of the bill ensure they put in a clause that will ensure that once appointments have been done, they respect the constitutional provision under Article 27(8) that requires that the appointive bodies must respect the 2/3 gender rule. This would mean that whoever is appointing must come up with a formula that will not violate this. Mr. Speaker, I also see a pattern that may very well suggest that the bigger coffee farmers belong to national government and the small-scale farmers belong to the county governments. That is a bad fallacy. When you look at when you look at 7(1)(d), it is proposing that 2 persons of the opposite gender representing small-scale coffee growers be nominated by the Council of Governors. And then later, you see at 1H, at 1G, sorry, that 1 person representing an association of coffee farmers nominated by the cabinet secretary, trying to suggest that the bigger scale farmers belong to national government and the small scale farmer belongs to the county government. Mr. Speaker, this is splitting hairs. There is no large scale farmer who is not situated in a county. And we must not, by these clauses, hive off what actually belongs to the county and give it to the national government. And when it comes to the function, Mr. Speaker, I would want to see a function that requires that the board acts in the best interest of coffee farmers, both small scale and large scale. So that this is not just a board that directs farmers on what to do, directs farmers around the prices, directs matters relating to licensing, but does not listen to the people. I have not seen a clause that provides for a public participation in terms of decision making that ensures that the decision that carries the day is a decision that is in the best interest of the farmers. Mr. Speaker, as I finalize, I want to speak to Schedule 2. And the Schedule 2, in my view, has actually determined which licenses will be issued by the board and which licenses will be issued by the county governments and which licenses would be issued by the Capital Market Authority. I wish to suggest, Mr. Speaker, that in that schedule, functions of counties have actually been given to the board. And that is something I would want that the committee relooks at to ensure that we are not clawing back on the constitutional functional assignment to county governments and taking mandates that belong to counties, giving them to a board that is in the control of national government and therefore clawing back on county functions. So whereas I support and I still insist we need to find out the rationale, we are going to waste public resources if we have the amalgam of the agriculture institutions carrying out functions, including coffee, and then having yet another body similar to the one that didn't work for us being put in place. So I'm in very good faith requesting that the committee consider the issues that I'm talking about so that by the time we pass this law, we are passing a law that is truly people-centered, that is truly farmer-centered. Mr. Speaker, even as I spoke about gender, one issue I forgot on clause 7, we need to recognize that coffee is planted in many counties. We might want to actually have a clause to ensure that members of that board are drawn from the different counties where coffee is grown in this country. Coffee is grown in Mount Kenya, coffee is grown in Rift Valley, coffee is grown in Western Kenya. I believe coffee can be grown at the coast, in some in Kwale and elsewhere. So we must also ensure that the representation on that board reflects the different counties that want to participate in coffee growing. Mr. Speaker, I also suggest the chairman who is supposed to be appointed by the president is that we have not suggested who that chairman should be. My view is that the chair of this board must be a coffee farmer. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when I stand here before you today, some people might think that this gentleman, senator, comes from Marsabit, Northeastern Province, or Upper Eastern. What does he know about coffee? But apparently, Honorable Speaker, Marsabit is coffee growing county, especially on the hill of Marsabit Mountain, which is called Saku. And when I was a young boy, we used